What's up, guys? Welcome to the first episode of the Zoomer Perspective. I'm Jackson.
I'm Jacob and still getting used to the name. Don't worry.
Hey, the name is here to stay.
And then
But
that's fine. The name's here to stay. But for those of you that cringed when you heard it, I do too. So you're
Zoomer
not alone.
Perspective, we are Zoomers and we have a perspective, and that's why you're here is to listen to that perspective, which is
Absolutely.
based, by the way.
Which is based. What?
Based. You don't know what that means?
I don't know what that means, dude. I feel like
It
I'm
means
getting
like
old and I'm
it means
not.
like correct and good.
All right. All right.
And
I
based on God?
There you
Come
go.
on.
Yeah. Yeah.
The fact that you have TikTok is problem number one.
I don't
I
anymore.
cannot. Okay, good. Good. Because I was about to say,
Now
bro, like,
Facebook is my time waster.
reject modernity, embrace
I
tradition.
know, dude. Just chuck our phones out the window. I felt so bare yesterday when I went to church Wednesday.
Mhm.
I would like didn't have my phone, and I was like, I kept checking my pockets. I'm like,
It's
I'm like,
weird.
oh yeah,
It's weird, but it's like it's so good. It's like liberating.
it
Like
is.
I
It's
haven't
nice.
I
That's what
haven't had AirPods for a couple months now. I've been just going to the
no,
gym
can't do
with
that.
no AirPods, and I'm a different animal from that.
I don't necessarily use them to always listen to something, but I use them as
Mhm.
earplugs because I can use transparent, and then when the nail gun shoots or the saw,
Oh well,
it will
that's
still
valid. I mean,
cancel
I
out
can't
noise.
I can't argue with that.
Otherwise, I listen to podcasts or stuff.
Mhm.
I digress. Moving on.
Yeah, so to explain the title choice that clearly I chose and Jacob is slowly
Well,
being convinced.
I agree with the perspective part, but the Zoomer part was kind of where I was like, but there was
And
really
we're meeting
no better
halfway. Yeah.
options.
I can think of something because young perspective, yeah, but we won't be
What? Yeah, I
forever.
was gonna say, what happens when we do this show in, 20
And we're old
years and
and
we're
decrepit
not
and we have grandchildren.
be okay, I don't think I have grandchildren when I'm 40, but okay.
I didn't hear you say that part, but that's
I
okay.
said 20 years.
Okay. Well,
I won't be
I mean, who
40.
knows?
I'd be older than 40, but yeah,
Who knows? Anyways,
I'm not gonna tell you my age. You don't
so
need to know my age. I'm just
the
kidding.
Zoomer perspective, the reason I chose this, I was explaining this to Jacob a little bit beforehand, but our generation has seen the consequences of so many different social movements and ideas and also just world changing events. I mean, we're talking about, 9/11 and COVID, massive, massive events that have happened in history, changed the course of the world. You go to every store and there's self checkout now. That's from um massive change. No, but
I hate self checkout.
it's all right. We have lived through all of these different social movements and ideas being implemented within the world and especially the United States. And what's unique about our perspective is the fact that we didn't push for these. We don't know a life and we don't know a world without, you know, free trade or globalism or feminism or, sexual liberation. We don't know a world and we don't know a time without just talking to our grandparents or like reading a history book. We don't know what the world was like before that, and we only know that. And especially myself, who was raised in public school, I like I was shown all these ideas, and these ideas were kind of pushed onto me just as like the norm. And I think that's really unique, and especially as Christians, some of these things they go against our faith, they go against our values, and so that's where that unique perspective comes in, is the fact that we're living in the consequences of a world and of a society where we didn't make the change. We're living in it. So that's why I wanted to do that, because I mean, again, it's a unique place to be, I guess you could say.
I,
What do you think, Jacob? What do you think of
well,
the
I will say the
thought
world has
process?
always had issues and people have always lived through them. Like, I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
you
yeah.
have
I'm not gonna say
the
the
world
world's gonna end.
wars and all of that, and they had to go through so much. It's
Mhm.
just, it is so much more, news is so much more accessible
Mhm.
and with social media and
Yeah.
technology. that you hear about everything now versus before you could just live in uh, ignorant bliss, you
Well, yeah,
know?
I mean, it was just like your small community. Yeah, you're absolutely right on that, bro. That was some the widespread, connection. I don't know what the right term would be, but
I don't
just
know.
how, I mean, you look at the BLM movement in 2020, and that was something that happened. Where was that? Like Seattle? I mean, for
I have
us,
no idea.
other side of the country, and in our hometown, we
Yeah.
had a protest for it, and so that alone, like that level of just awareness and just being able to know what's going on as well as we can today, like that's a very, again, unique place to be, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
We don't know a time. We don't know what it was like to be in this bliss. I mean, our parents, I'm sure yours have talked about, oh yeah, I remember you just didn't know what was going on. You just had the news. Not me.
Yeah.
Freaking go on Instagram and I don't know, shenanigans.
Yeah, it's sometimes, yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
It's just the world is jacked.
something like that.
But
Anyways,
sin.
but yeah, I mean, do you have anything to add about the title choice
Not
thought
really. I
process?
just I think it'll be good. I like it because our generation a lot of times has a terrible perspective on just life and things in general.
That's true. That's true.
Um,
We do not.
and we do not. You may be thinking that that is our opinion, and yes, it is our opinion.
But
Um,
it's correct. And you can have a correct opinion.
you can. At the end of the day, it is an opinion. I mean, it depends on what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Certain
that's
things we
true.
can back up with facts.
If you have
Other
a favorite
things,
color, I don't care.
other things, it's
Subjective.
a yeah, exactly. So if you
Yep.
want to have a disagreement with us about something and it's something we can bring facts to the table, let's do it. Let's have fun. Let's bring facts to the table and let's share our perspective. Um, but
Our
I think a lot of
correct
people
based perspective.
have no faith in our generation, and so I just want
Absolutely.
to share our perspective to try to give them a little bit of hope in part of our
Yes.
generation, because it
Very
is not our
optimistic.
entire generation. It's just there's a lot of loud people that post things. The rest of us just keep silent and read everything and don't actually post. And so most of the world thinks we're
Yeah.
nuts. But, you know. Anyways, so I like the
Yeah,
fact of sharing our
really,
perspective. So I
for
accept
sure.
that our generation is called Zoomer, and well, Gen Z, but Zoomer, Boomer, you know.
Yeah, Zoomer's cool. It's like a buzzword or something. I don't know.
I wouldn't say cool, but
Hey,
what do I know?
whatever. Again, this is a
But yeah, share our
subjective
perspective.
opinion.
Yes, that is not a fact. That's an opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our name. You've met
Okay.
us. If you are listening to audio only, know that you can find us on YouTube. I don't know what our name
Yep.
is yet because I haven't created the account yet, but
It's gonna be Zoomer
it'll
perspective.
be what.
So
Well, I know, but if that's already taken on YouTube, it might have numbers or whatever.
it's probably,
I highly
I'm gonna
doubt
look
it.
it up right now,
But
actually.
no, sure you can.
It's
And
probably not gonna be taken. And listen, if it is
anyways,
taken,
it will
we will
be
just
in the
rise to the top.
description of whatever app you're listening to this on, because you can put descriptions, I hope. So if you want to watch the video only, see Jackson picking his nose and our terrible camera quality, come check us out.
Yep.
Don't like check us out because we're both in serious relationships, so like
I mean,
we're
you
not up for
can, but like, just
grabs.
don't tell me. All right.
Yeah, and we're not gay, so you know there's that.
Yeah, I'm not.
Um,
Okay.
if you
Not
got
gonna do
offended by that, then you should probably not be listening because there was nothing to get offended by right there.
it. Yep.
Anyways, all right.
Anyways,
Moving on. We're what are we gonna talk about? This is the first episode.
Yeah,
We didn't really kind of have a topic for this one.
yeah,
We just
just
kind of
doing it.
yeah. Maybe the topic is send it.
Yeah, the topic is how winging it is cool, and you should wing things that you do and not have a plan every time you do stuff.
Yeah. No,
Unless
that's not the topic.
it's fixing our country. Then let's have a plan, guys.
Let's have a brain.
Yeah. Let's not
Anyways.
have dementia. There's our first step.
Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, I feel bad for the guy. He don't know what's happening. It's not his fault. I mean, granted, when he had
I mean,
a
I
brain,
feel
he
bad
still
as much
sucks,
as I
but
can feel bad for a traitor of the country.
yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
moving on. That's a topic for another day.
Yeah, not a topic I particularly care about.
Yeah, because I have opinions about both.
And I think we agree.
Yes.
We would agree.
Yes.
Anyways,
I don't love them both, but one is clearly better than the other. And
I
if
love
you choose
one
not to vote,
more than the other.
yes, and if you choose to just be like, "Ah, I don't like any of them, so I'm not voting, then you're
Then
part of the
you're
problem.
complicit in the destruction of our country.
Yeah.
And cringe for that.
At least vote for your like state and city officials if you're not going to do presidential.
They're not good enough for that. Come on now.
Anyways,
All right, so the topic is voting and why.
yeah. Why should you vote? Because
Why you should vote and why voting is not a right. So quit crying about it.
why voting is not a right. What? What is
It's
that
not
have to do-
right. Because
It's
rights
an
are
obligation.
given to us by God. It's a what's the word? A privilege from our state.
Yeah.
Not a right.
All right. Fair enough. Yeah.
That's my.
You
I mean,
get to choose, not have one thrown upon you. I mean, you don't get very many options, but
that's okay.
I mean, if we could, we'd elect Jesus, but you know, we can't do that. So we have to choose the best
That's
option
why you
there
follow
is.
them. Too
Yeah,
easy.
exactly. They're not, there's never a perfect option, but you
Yeah.
choose the best you're given.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And yeah, I think that's something people forget is that we're electing people, and also
People are
it's
flawed.
you I mean you don't have a right. Again, like I think this is a big thing people forget. You don't have a right to vote. It's a privilege, and
For American citizens.
yeah, well, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Um,
And the people that are
and
alive.
I mean, yeah, I think you should vote because again, you have that privilege, and you should be thankful. So you should. I mean, you should vote. And yeah, I mean, I don't really have too crazy. I mean, I could get into how I don't think a lot
Yeah.
be able to vote, but
If you do vote, though, make sure you know what you're voting for. Like, don't just go and vote for whatever your party
yeah,
is.
stupid people shouldn't be able to vote.
I don't care what party you
For
are.
real.
You choose a party that has the most, their agenda fits your beliefs the most. So
The
whether
correct beliefs the most. The agendas that don't want to.
correct, yes.
Yeah.
Whether that be Democratic, Republican, if you go independent, that's a topic for another day too. But whatever party you do choose, make sure you know. Like, don't just go vote for your party because you think it's going to fit, because it doesn't matter what party you have. There are people that have good morals and bad morals, and just because they fall within a certain party does not mean they are a good option. And so that is why you are given multiple options per party.
That is true. That is true. A lot of people, especially on the right, think that, oh, just because they have an R next to their name, I should vote for them. And that sadly is just not the case. Now, if I was a Democrat, it would be pretty easy because they basically all want to do the same thing. And you know what that is if you're still listening at this point. But
You think we
A lot
turn
of
people
people.
away already? What?
I mean, me personally,
We're not
you
being
know, if I
we're
lean
not
that
sharing
direction,
what our political stances are whatsoever. Racks a gun.
no need to yet. I think it's implied though. But anyways, a
Yes,
lot of
yeah.
people on the right tend to believe that you can vote for anyone with an R next to your name, and that's just not the case.
Not the
A lot of
case.
people are traitors, you know,
Yeah.
and we hate to see it, but
Yeah. We
yeah,
had
that's why you just need to stay like moderately educated. I'm not a political nerd. I think that's kind of, but I at least know
we had
some people.
I think it was either I think it was state or
Mhm.
at least it was a local election probably or a state election, and
Yeah,
there were no Democrats running. It was all Republican. So everyone that showed up to vote was Republican because if you're not Republican, if
yeah,
you're Democrat or independent, you can't vote for them, which is why you should never be independent. In my opinion, you should choose a party that.
yeah. I mean, if you want to be independent, get ready to be. Say,
I have no idea what you said. You cut out. But if you're independent, you just can't vote for
I'm not
that
gonna say
much.
it.
That's just the only thing.
Well,
It's
yeah.
just
I mean,
unfortunate.
yeah. I said if you're independent, get ready to be disappointed.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because
I
that's what's
mean,
gonna
I
happen.
agree. Yeah. Anyways, but and so there was a ton of Republicans. So you can't just vote for anyone with that R because there was four of them for
Exactly.
one thing. So it's like you have to choose,
Exactly.
and so you got to do your research. And
Just be educated.
yeah,
This is another big problem with our generation that I think you and I do a little bit better on. I'm not going to sit and be like but
no, by no
a
means
lot
are
of
we
people are so
perfect
dumb.
at all.
A lot of people they're so stupid. Like I talk to people and I'm like, dude, how do you function? Like you have the most god awful take I've ever heard in my entire life. And I'm like, I mean, I'll sit here and I'll be
They're
like, oh yeah,
taught
my
to think
opinions.
that way, not think for
My
themselves.
yeah, well, that's true. Or they just regurgitate what they hear,
True.
which I'm just like, bro, for you that's listening, if you have an idea, if you have a thought, an opinion on something, right? You should kind of think on that thought, if that makes sense, and really try to polish that out. I had a friend who told me, he was like, you should want your ideas to be challenged and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And yeah, he is absolutely right. The irony was the fact that I was the one challenging his belief and he was getting angry at me. But yeah, that's besides the point. A lot of people just say that. They just say, "Hey, you need to have your beliefs challenged. You need to like hear other opinions." I, other opinions, like I'll have an idea. I'll have opinions. Are I don't need to hear them again. But I think on them. I think it out. I'm like, okay. Well, it's like people who are communists. Like, bro, you do not think this out whatsoever. Like, if you're communist, take it to the next couple steps. Oh wow, every time there's a communist country, they just slaughter a huge portion of their citizens. That's crazy. But communism's good if we just don't do it, bro. It leads to time. Like, how can you not
Yeah,
figure that out yet?
yeah. Don't let Satan think for you, ultimately.
Yeah, that's true.
Find
And
Jesus, because most of you need it.
yeah, and just pray for wisdom too. Like people forget you
Absolutely.
can do that. Like pray that God will guide
I
you. Why would you not do that?
Yeah,
Come on,
absolutely.
man.
I will
Yeah,
say it is hard to like realize you're wrong or to be told you're wrong.
absolutely.
But if I am wrong, show me proof. Like prove it to me because I do
Yeah,
not want to be saying something if I am
absolutely.
wrong about it. Like
Absolutely.
I thrive for the truth. Like I thrive with truth.
100%.
Like I strive to find truth. And so like if I
Mhm.
am wrong about something, tell me, but you better be able to back it up because if I believe something, I'm going to argue my point. I will listen to your point, but if you're just like, well, it's just that's the way it is, that's true, that's not backing up your
Yep.
point. You
Or you
need
just
to,
call me names like, okay, bro,
yeah,
congratulations. Like we're no longer speaking or having a intellectual conversation. Another thing I'll add too is this is why people this is why I've started to try to limit this, and this is why you, the listener, need to quit distracting yourself. Quit just constantly scrolling,
oh my gosh, it's
constantly,
so hard.
listening to music, listening to podcasts, YouTube videos. I'm definitely guilty of this.
Yeah, stop listening to our
But
podcast right now.
yeah, stop. If you're doing that, but like real talk, right now, mindlessly listening to this because you don't want to listen to your own thoughts, like, bro, just turn it off because you need time in your own head again to think about these thoughts and be like, okay, well, why do I believe this? Why do I think this? What would happen
Yeah.
if my thoughts would be implemented? What would happen if I did this? People don't do that, and then they say dumb stuff to me, and I'm like, bro, can are we even thinking at this point? Or
Yeah,
are we just saying stuff? And
pause and think
crazy.
in your own head, and yeah,
Yes.
and then come
And
back to us later.
that pause lasts more than it takes to load the next freaking YouTube short or in between skipping songs. Like you should be taking time out of your day to just think and have a moment of silence.
Yeah. If you're wondering
And
why
I
you
talk about
can't
this a
sleep
lot
at
on
night
my
because
YouTube
your
channel
brain won't
because
shut off, it's because you don't give your brain time to think during the day. And so it
Mhm.
can only think at night.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's so true.
I struggle
And
with
this is
that,
something
by
I
the
talk
way. Like
about.
I'm not saying I don't do that because I 100% struggle with
Yeah, I
that.
mean, it's the plight of our era. And this is something I talk about all the time on my YouTube channel is the fact that you need to be distancing yourself from this. And we look at Jesus. Jesus went into a quiet, secluded place to spend time with God.
Mhm.
Okay. You're not going to be able to effectively spend time with God if you are constantly in a loud and distracting environment. It's just not going to happen. I'm not going to say, oh, God's not with you there. But hey, if all these people, hey, I want to live like Jesus, let's use Jesus as an example. Jesus goes to a quiet, secluded place. I don't know for how long, but okay,
Just think
if
about when he
Jesus
went
did that
out in the
in
wilderness
the
for
garden,
40 days.
yeah. Oh well, that too. Yeah, I mean, 40-day hike with God. Come on now, that's too easy.
Yeah, well, I think he also fasted the entire time too.
Yeah, that's not the easy part, but anyway,
Yeah. I hear there's something magical about doing that though. Like to just
fasting.
yeah, to just give it
Oh yeah,
all your focus. Let
oh
God
yeah, 100%.
fill you up, literally.
Hmm.
I mean, and then
And
like do your
again,
juice
you're.
so you can get your little sugar and stuff like that. Like I'm not saying don't just drink or eat, but like some just
I mean, you
plain
could
bread,
send it.
like plain
Yeah,
bread and water and stuff so you can get your
100%.
substance, but you're not
Absolutely.
focusing on the flavor. You're I
Yeah,
yeah.
you're not being distracted again. Yeah,
I I hear
nothing
that
that's going to.
is does wonders, but I have yet to attempt it.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe we'll do that. That'll be our big podcast meetup. Everyone just fasts and we pray the whole time.
Yeah, do like a meetup. That'd be
So it's
fun.
like church.
Yeah, church. Let's just all go to church together. That's much better.
Yeah. So this is kind of the direction we want to take with the podcast
Yeah.
and we want to do. If you like what we're saying, go ahead, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Spotify or however that works, because we're planning on posting at least weekly. And we want to have these conversations because what Jacob and I noticed is every time we would get on the really good, deep conversations with one another, where in some ways we're refining our thoughts and refining our perspective on the world.
Yeah.
And if that's something you're interested in and you want to tune in for, and I think you will be able to really gain something from listening to the two of us. I think you should subscribe, follow us on Spotify or however that works. I Jacob, is that how that works?
You so I don't know about Spotify. So there's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube
Mhm.
is where I'll try to post it. There might be like a Google
Cool.
Podcast or something like that. But yeah, you can like and then follow and add it to your
Mhm.
library and stuff like that.
And if
So
you're on
for sure.
YouTube, hey, tell us what you want to hear us talk about because
Yeah,
I'm
for sure.
down.
Leave us comments and
Unless it's like Joe
topics.
Biden, like bro, redundant. I don't want to talk about that. Like
Yeah, like no, for real. Like we want some
boring.
topics and some fun things to talk about. So if you're curious on what our perspective is, because that is the fun part about our show, is if you want to hear our perspective on something because you're curious, leave us a comment. Leave us send us a message and
Absolutely.
let us know what we should do. Let us know what you want to hear. if you have a disagreement with something that we said, you're more than welcome to leave a comment. I may let it go in one ear and out the other because it may not be
Yeah,
worth my time. But if it is worth our time, then we will definitely talk about it and bring it up. So yeah,
for sure. For sure.
freedom of speech.
So I hope you have a blessed week, and we will see you guys, or we'll see you. We will see you next week where we talk about something more specific.
Yeah. Peace.